And it should be, yep, it's recording now. So what I want to do is I want to talk to y'all about mentoring. And the reason is because, to me, one of the most important things with you becoming what you're supposed to be, you living out your vision, is you're going to need help. And you're going to need lots of it. And you won't always get it from the sources you think you are. When you see from this, you're going to find out that mentoring is not what you think it is. It's somewhat different. There is a time when you're going to have somebody who's going to help you with, something you want to do in life. There's going to be somebody that comes along and says, hey, I know you're trying to be a nurse. I know you're trying to be a this. You're going to try to be that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you. And I'm going to explain the reason why, because the first thing I used to ask when somebody would say, I want to help you, is why? What's in it for you, basically. And so we're going to discuss a little bit of that about what is in it for them, but also, more importantly, what you get out of it, because mentoring is going to be something you can get out what you put into it. I want you to, if you can, and unfortunately that clock's in the way, but I want you to kind of really write this statement down, because this is an important thing for you to remember. And it says that all of us are one person away from being taken to the next level of what we want to accomplish. Just one person. The only question will be is, do you find who that one person is? And I know, like, some of you getting ready for college, for instance. And there's going to be a lot of things that you want to get involved in college. More importantly, pending towards when you graduate from college and you go into the professional world. And the good thing about that is, as you go through those things, you're going to be looking for people who can help you get to where you want. People that got a little bit of experience in some things that can tell you some shortcuts. Basically, what you're looking for with a mentor, you're looking for somebody who can help you get from point A to point Z without you having to go through all these other steps by yourself, learning by trial, by error, and all those other not so wonderful things that can help you get to where it is you need to get to. For instance, when I was in college, graduated out of college, I wanted to go work at the White House. It was the first thing I ever wanted to do. And so I had to find somebody who knew more about that, because I had filled out applications, had tried to find hookups to get all these things in there. But the problem is that I wasn't finding the right person who knew what I needed to know to get to that next level. And see, everybody else was just applying. You applied through your internships or whatever it is to get that information to get you where you really want to be. But you know as well as I do, they get thousands and thousands and thousands of applications when it comes to things like that. Right now, for this administration, the Obama administration, the White House, they're getting thousands of applications for the good jobs that people want. So really, finding a mentor gets you, I don't want to say it oversteps other people, but it puts you one cut above the rest to finding the information you're going to need as you go along. Definition of a mentor. Before I go through this real quick, do any of you have a mentor already? You have somebody? Who's your mentor? Okay, Ms. Venetia. Who else? Anybody else? Anyone else got a mentor? I'm going to describe what one is. It says someone who knowingly or unknowingly shares and provides you with knowledge and wisdom to accelerate you to your goals and your purpose in life. I'll explain what I mean by unknowingly. But this is somebody that accelerates you to where you already want to get to. There's some key things in here you need to remember. Number one, your goals. Over this next month, last month we talked about finances. The month before that we talked about some other things, leadership-wise. But now we're about to get into the final stages of where I want you to refine you. I want you to take what you want to do, take what you believe, take what you need, and start to really refine it. So at some point, actually over the next 3 weeks, we're going to be setting goals, your personal goals, the things you want. Some of you may already have these. We're going to try to refine them, get them as fine as we possibly can. And it says your purpose in life. Goals and purpose go together. Your purpose is going to be set forth by the goals you set. So if you got goal here, go here, go here, each goal should be like a destination point taking you to where you want to be in your life, whatever that may be. But that's someone, like it says, knowingly and unknowingly, again, I'll explain that in a little while, shares and provides you with knowledge and wisdom. In other words, information and how to use the information. They don't just say, well, if you want that job, go apply over there. They tell you how to do it. And I'll explain, you got to have these something you're going to draw out. You're going to have to draw out of them slowly but surely. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Everybody, you got your Bibles with you? Everybody got the Bibles? Why don't you turn to John 15:15 for me? Let me give you a little bit better definition of what I'm talking about here. Everybody there? And he says here, if you read there, this is John 15:15, it says, I no longer call you servants, because the servant doesn't know his master's business. Instead, I've called you friends. For everything that I've learned from my Father, I've made it known to you. A couple of things you want to remember here. It says here, I no longer call you servants. In other words, your mentor is going to be somebody that's going to set you apart from other people. Not going to treat you quite like they do other people. So in other words, if you're working at a place and somebody recognizes that, Patrick's got a little bit more leadership potential than other people do, I need to talk with him personally. He's going to set you aside, so you're not going to just be another worker. You're not just going to be called a servant. He says, because the servant doesn't know his master's business. In other words, he doesn't know what the people that are just working, they're just going through the motions. He can see in them the potential's not there. It's not that they're bad people. It's just this isn't for them. But they can see you and say, there's something special about you. That's why each one of you are in this class. Now, it's because somebody else saw something in you and said, these folks got to be in here because there's a little bit something they need to learn, a little bit more than everybody else that's learning. And so they say, okay, I need to bring them out a little bit. So they say, the other people don't know what's going on as far as the workings of things, how this works. But I'm going to pull you aside. And when I pull you aside, I call you a friend. In this case, a friend is like a confidant. It's like somebody that comes alongside and says, hey, I know what you've been doing. I've been seeing some potential in you. I want to show you a better way to do it, though. A way that's going to get you where you want, to what you're trying to, because I see you got goals. I see you got purpose. They pull you along the side. It's important that you guys know this now, because after these classes are over and you go to college or you go to other place, you need to know how to recognize some things about these folks that say they want to help you. Recognize the good, the bad, and the ugly, but more importantly, recognize the good. Because most people do want to help you. They do want to see you get to where you want to get to in life. So what he's saying is, instead I call you friends. For everything I've learned from my Father, I've made it known to you. In other words, Jesus is saying here, everything that I know that's made me an expert, that's made me who I am, I'm going to pass it along to you. Now you're going to know everything I know. Everything that's in here will now be in yours, which is even better because that means you will know everything you know plus everything I know, which is a great thing. So what he's saying is everything I know, I'm going to pass along to you, and then you're going to be able to take it and do more than I ever did with it. That's what a mentor should start to do for you. And I'll explain a little bit more again as we go along about the knowingly and unknowingly when it comes to the definition. 4 areas of life you definitely need a mentor in. And really you need one in each 4 of these. It's a great thing if you find somebody that can cover 2 or 3 of these. Or it's really, really good if you can find somebody that can cover all 4. Chances of that happening are slim and next to none. I know there's some folks who I know who are great spiritual leaders. Good in family. Decent in their profession, but they ain't got a clue about finances. So it's not that I don't need to talk to them about the other 3 just because they don't know anything about this. It just means I got to find somebody in this area with finances that know what they're doing. So I can have my family, I can have my mom teach me about family because she's great with family. I could have somebody else at work who I know may be a Christian or who's just a really good person who can teach me about their profession. Don't disqualify somebody just because they don't wear the title of Christian. Because God will use different people at different times to give you the information you don't have. He'll give you helpers that you may not have right away, and he'll say, this person may not be a Christian, but you only need them for a season. They're going to give you some information that's going to propel you a little bit further. Case in point, when I went to the White House, when I was tutoring, I was tutoring some kids. I didn't have anything else really right then that I was doing on the weekend, so I said, I might as well do some tutoring. And I had a really fun time. I had these kids that were in math. I wasn't really good at math, but I was still tutoring math. But